awfully quiet.
It's better.
No, sorry. It's 'cause I'm still trying to figure out why this won't
I thought
work.
my sound went blotto.
It did. We're just
There we go. There we go. Oh, shoot. I nailed the transition and forgot to turn on. Hello, everybody, and welcome. How are you doing for tonight's episode of MLS Fantasy Insider? Pardon me as I adjust my camera to make sure I get the proper amount of, like, Lego and Star Wars and scarves in the background. Yeah, it's okay. Got some Japanese wine and all sorts of stuff in the background. No, that's sake. That's a bottle of sake. So yeah, all the good stuff. I got a custom case for this Super Starter story right here coming from Wicked Bricks. So I'm excited about that. But anyway, this is not a Lego stream. This is hey Gene, what's going on? This is a fantasy soccer stream, and it's going to be an interesting one, guys. I appreciate you joining. We have the social out on Discord. We have the social out on Twitter. Please do be so kind and share that if you can. Yes, I got some sake back there. And share that for us. If this is the first time joining us for the stream here on YouTube, thank you very much. Feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. It all really helps for us continuing to build our community here, and we appreciate it so much. So yeah, this is how we're going to be running tonight. Blaine's out. We'll give a little shout out to him. It's like, no, it looks good here. How's it in the frame? That's what I need to fix. Like the frame right there. There we go. The live thing. That's right. That's what needs to be fixed. I was looking at I look like have like so much headspace in the actual Zoom thing here, but I forget that it's cropped for the stream, and so I'm like, oh wait, no. This is
I'm not even in the middle here.
What it needs to be. Yeah. What do you?
I'm not even
frame me. I don't even know where I'm going here.
Get the lines going right there and get it sorted. It's all good. All right. Anyway, enough of that. This is why you all came. This is why you all came for the behind the scenes talk. But it's all good. It's not even live. YouTube, you lying to me. YouTube, you drunk. Anyway. Okay. Here we go. Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the MLS Fantasy Insider, our review of round 19 and preview of round 20's quick turnaround double game week. This episode is brought to you by Jesus. He scores for us, but not us. I'm actually brought to you by the amazing MLS Fantasy Insider Patreon community. It's because of you that we are able to keep this project going for as long as we have. And quick update, the information has gone out to our creator who's going to be designing the new logos for this season that you all will be able to vote on for the new sticker and buttons that will be going out. So that is coming very soon. I'm your host, Reid Connolly from MLSFantasyBoss.com, and tonight I'm joined by my partner in fantasy, Ashley Savage. Blaine is out visiting some family in Texas, so he is not going to be with us tonight. But we'd also like to welcome our special guest tonight, one of the top fantasy overall players and Discord admin from MLS Fantasy Boss Discord server, Christian Ward. How are you all doing tonight?
Hi.
Hi, Christian.
You
Hi,
can't.
Ashley.
For those of you listening, like Christian gave this weird like look when I called him one of the top players of the game, but he's like what 12th overall, like that.
Yeah.
That qualifies that sort of comment.
Barely hanging on to 12th. Okay?
Yeah, but you're there.
That's because you're probably like what 7 points out of first.
It's a precarious 12.
It's crazy there in that level.
It's
See, that's why I just shoot for top 200. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I don't have to worry about the extra stress. It's all good. Ashley going for top 100, like, geez, Louise. What ridiculous. I'm the happy one right now. Anyway, so at the very beginning of the show tonight, I'm going to give you this quick update. We'll give another update again later in case that you're going just now tuning in or going to tune in then, so future. But I'm going to be on vacation next week, so that means there's going to be a slight shift up in how this podcast is going to happen. There may be an impact for those of you on YouTube that it may not actually stream. I'm going to give some of this to Christian, and he may just change everything I'm getting ready to say. But we're going to have a little bit different presentation next week since I will be off, and Christian is going to help make sure all the tech works. So Christian, what can people expect for next week's show?
Well, okay, so we are going to try something new. We are going to stream the podcast live on Discord using what Discord calls the stage, a stage channel. And really what that is a regular channel. It's like a voice channel, but with streaming video. And they turned it into something like a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, if you're familiar with that. So you've got the hosts that are on stage, and then you've got the audience. And if you're a Discord member, um, you're you're able to be in the audience. And so what we're going to do is um, have that channel, and we're going to have it like scheduled ahead of time so that there's an events channel right there in the Discord in the left sidebar at the top that will have the podcast, and that'll become active at the time that we make it active, probably at 8 or 8:30 Central, what we usually do. Um, but since this is the first time we're doing this, you know, expect some weirdness, okay? But there's a reason that we want to try this, and one of them is that the hosts can like we can have up to 5 hosts easily. Also, uh, we can interchange hosts really easily. Like if Ranchinator wants to pop in and kick me out, he can do that. Uh,
He does, I bet.
yeah, he all the time. Anyway,
he wants to do the injury reports.
yeah, exactly. So it'd make it easier for us to actually have like cameos come on, talk for a couple minutes, and then leave. Also, the hosts can share their screens, which is useful in a couple of ways. Like whenever I've been a guest on this show, I've always wanted to share my picks visually while I'm talking about them. Or I've always wanted to like share like a specific stat on FBref or something like that backs up what kind of my hot takes. That would be actually helpful for me. So player picks, stats, things like that. Mega reference, we could bring it up when we're talking about it, injuries, absences, things like that. So that's going to be something that we would absolutely love to use. There's a chat sidebar built in, just like the YouTube chat, but it's like a super powered Discord chat. Looks just like a chat channel associated with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write up a like how to and pin it in the main channel as to how you can join the event if you're on Discord and watch it live.
And so we'll pregame stream the battle between Ashley and Christian for who's going to be like the host for the show at that time.
Oh, it's going to be Ashley. It's going to be Ashley.
See, and it's not what you think. Like you would think they would each fight for each other. No, they're going to fight to see.
We're going to fight for
one.
who doesn't do it.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's
for everyone who experienced it when I tried to do it the way you do it, which to me is very technological and to you is very fundamental. It was a lot and very challenging, and I had a very big glass of wine when I was done.
You just got to make it your own.
This sounds great.
But yeah, so that's what's in store for next week. It's going to be a test. It might be something we try more in the future. Obviously, it's great for those of you who join us on YouTube for the visuals. For those of you who get the show through the SoundCloud, you're not going to have the visual, but you can still make a reference back there. And don't forget, Discord is free. There is nothing preventing you from joining at MLSFantasyBoss.com/Discord to check this out for next week. We're still going to be doing stuff as we usually do right now with Zoom for probably the rest of this season, but it is a technology that we want to investigate to just see if it's going to be a way that we can get more of our community involved and interactive. So that's what's going to be up there for next week. So don't be afraid if some weird stuff happens, but we wanted to get that at the front end of the show. Now we're going to start talking about our expectation versus reality from round 19, or sorry, from round 19. And it was a short round because we're just going to have a double game week tomorrow. That's right. If you're listening to this on Monday, July 4th is when we have the kickoff for round 20. And it's just ridiculous, but it happens, and so this is your time to prep. And for me, last week I got 91 points, which won almost all of my head-to-heads. I was pretty happy with everything overall with my team. Had a couple of flubs with Montreal defense and San Jose defense, and then Zella did not do what I had hoped he would, but fortunately I did end up going with Mukhtar Cap in a weird twist of fate, I'd gone with Reynoso, and when I saw the lineup, I just didn't even see his name on the lineup. When I was looking, I was like, Reynoso's not even in the 18. This is ridiculous. So I just took him out and put in Amada, and I was all grumpy about that, and he got 16 points. So fantastic. That was great. Good for him. But other than that, I have no real takeaways because I got to watch zero soccer over the break because I was at a bar, maybe more accurately described as a gaming hall. I don't know, it's one of those like digital slot machine places. There's a restaurant attached to it. I was out with my in-laws. But we were out there. Of course, they do not have Apple TV. Why would they? And they don't have the MLS package. Why would they? And I, as an Android user, do not have an Apple native app. And so I was trying to watch anything through the web interface, and all it would do was error, which is what's happened to me the last 2 times I've tried to watch anything on my phone, is it just errors every time. And so it's basically useless. I don't know how people watch games when they're out at bars or out at restaurants or anything like that. So I saw nothing. I just kept up with stuff through the app updates that I have. So fantastic that channeling Blaine. Blaine just came in right
Blaine is here.
He did. He just channeled it right in like that. Fantastic that Baji got a not really hat trick, scoring 3 goals in the Cincinnati game, but only 2 of them actually for Cincinnati. So good job, but happy to get the point out of that. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it to Ashley and Christian to give the breakdown. 91 was enough to win all but one of my head-to-heads, and that was, and I think the lineup IQ league. But I was really worried about going up against Sloppy Steaks this week because he's like number 2 or 3 overall right now, and I was able to.
Wait, there's a lineup IQ league, and I wasn't invited.
And I wasn't invited. Well, we'll talk to Ryan.
Pretty sure you got to be a
Oh my
Patreon
God.
member. Got to be a Patreon supporter. So, anyway, Ashley,
All right.
how did you do?
Well, we're going to have to leave the player expectations versus reality to Christian because I, too, did not watch a single game this week, but not by choice. I was camping with my family. We were gone for my husband's birthday. I made a lineup for the show, and I often tinker that or reads things or whatever. You guys know I'm not like a epic stats person, but I like to kind of look at lineups when they come out and make some gut decisions. So Spencer and I drove 15 minutes towards what we hoped would be cell service. I wasn't able to look at all the lineups, but I tried to at least make sure I could save the team that I wanted. Spencer hadn't even made a team yet. Went to save my team, and it didn't save. So I had a Zella instead of an Almada, which Almada was who I had wanted to change to. And I had a Mukhtar captain instead of a Lucho captain, which is the captain that I had thought I'd made through the app. I ended with 76 points, which is not terrible, but not what I wanted. And I was just really frustrated at myself for thinking that it saved, and frustrated that I didn't lock that in before we left for town to go out of town on Friday. So I saw nothing. I did terrible. Christian, you're up.
Big shout out to Patrick, though, real quick. Triple digits right there. Very
Get
nice.
it?
All. Let's just calm down about Patrick.
Oh,
beat
no.
me.
Patrick
He
deserves
beat me
it.
in 2 head-to-heads.
Oh, good
2
for
of them.
Sorry for you, but
He
yay for-
shellacked me in 2 head-to-heads.
Well, he got triple digits.
Good for you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah. That said, I had 99. I barely hung on to 12th. I started the round in 12th overall and hung on to it. I was as high up as 8th after Saturday's games, and then Atlanta happened. So I picked Zelarayan because, and so like, I knew I shouldn't pick Zelarayan because New York Red Bulls have some like midfield magical powers or something mystical happening where every number 10, every playmaker, every creator just craps the bed every game against them. So I deserved the 2 points for thinking that I could outsmart that, and Zelarayan just completely failed, just like he should have, and that I'm an idiot. Anyway, I faded Almada and Lennon because I was certain Philadelphia would destroy Atlanta, and they didn't.
They did
So I'm still trying to figure out what part of my radar is broken to make me believe that.
You were right about Reynoso, though.
Yeah, I was right about Reynoso. The only problem is I faded him as captain. I changed it to Hanny.
Mm-hmm.
And
where were you? Did you have full service? Because that's on you then.
Oh yeah, it is 100% on me.
I'm sure.
I had it on Reynoso all week, and I switched it to Hanny for safety's sake. You know, when you get up to like top 20-ish, you start losing your mind. You start.
Well, that's why I wanted to do Lucho, because I didn't make Champions League yet, right? So I didn't want to do the safety pick. Mukhtar's so good captain, but I wanted to do something different.
You basically stop doing what got you there, and you start playing it safe, which is the wrong thing to do.
Yep, absolutely.
And my last takeaway is a positive one. I gambled on tripling up on Seattle defense, and that paid off.
Yeah.
Bold
Have
as
you
hell.
listened to me at all this year?
I have, and that's the reason I did it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I fortunately did not triple up on the Montreal defense, which would have been weird there. A couple other little good comments I think we can just see from the information. People who were going with Berkey as their keeperoo last week did very well. I wasn't so sure about that one, but he was a great keeperoo. I know a lot of people really liked the idea of going with Sirios and Fry. That was okay if you went with Fry, so that was that. But some of them were busts. Willis also worked out pretty well. I know I saw some people who were looking at him, so that worked out well. People who were going with San Jose, I almost didn't go with Rodriguez, and I wish I had gone with my gut with that one, because all year Rodriguez has been a bonus point machine all year, except for like this round when he got like 1 point. But that's helped him overcome those times when San Jose gives up goals, which has been often. San Jose has often allowed goals while they've been trying to outscore themselves, though. So that was maybe a little bit of a trap with San Jose, and then Montreal did not turn out, I know, as many people had hoped for. I was really unsure about Lennon, because I was like you, Christian. I thought Philadelphia would be able to generate more even on the road, and I just wasn't confident in Brad Guzan. As
Robinson being gone.
Yeah. Exactly. With a lot of stuff, he ended up getting 8 points for Guzan, and Lennon got that 15. That's why he always pops up there. And Parker was also the number one scoring defender, who I saw him slip into several people's formation sort of near the end of the round. So that was good. A nice little St. Louis pick there. And I'll be honest, right now, I'd probably talk a little bit more about them there in our pick section if it wasn't for the double game week, because I like this Toronto match they're facing there. Other than that, just some random team players you don't even see making it some big numbers right there. But Fontas back up there, double digits, one to be keeping an eye on. And otherwise, some usual names. At midfielder, we already talked about some of those players. Torres did well, 14 points there. It's nice to see Orlando getting some of the juices going. Of course, Acosta came in with 11, and we see Espinoza getting the 9, and Ladero getting the 9, which not always what we're hoping for, but
I've got a hockey assist, so
there you go. And you know how I feel about some of the assist things going on here, so it is what it is. But of course, over at the forward position, have some names that we're not always seeing there, like Baji up there on top above Cucho, but we're also seeing Costa coming on for LA. Might be something we talk about up there. Again, Bo scoring the forward du jour for New England. That's still a tough one. And Polito, once again, was a pretty good. I know he didn't start, and that was a conversation that happened in our Discord chat, was, do you still go with Polito if he's on the bench? And those who did got him as a good bench play, coming off with 7 points. So interesting, some of the scores, but that's what we expect because of these international call-ups, which is going to be factoring into decisions that we're going to be talking about as well later on in this show. So we're going to check chat real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, Patrick chimed in and saying he would have done better if he didn't have the Montreal and San Jose defenders. Well, you got 114, Patrick, so congrats. That's not not try to be like that.
Top score was 125.
That's right up there.
Yeah.
Right up there. So yeah, nothing else.
How much Atlanta did he have? Because that's the real.
Oh, he had all the right Atlanta.
All the right Atlanta. Good for Patrick. Staying
Yeah.
true and winning.
Yeah. So there's a few takeaways. It is hard to give some really solid takeaways because of the international call-ups that we do have. But I think Christian, I'll end on that note that he had, is that the way you play to get to where you are is oftentimes what's going to keep you going for the rest of the season. And so stopping and second guessing yourself, it can hurt you. And it's nice to have fun. That's what I like to do. It's nice to have fun with the game. Sometimes just go, forget it, that guy. That's who's getting my captain. Let's just go and see what happens. Let's play that guy and see what happens. So if that's what's gotten you up there, then go with it. Just go with it. We're getting near the end of the season. There's still plenty of season left, though. So, but we'll be talking more about that. Some abbreviated updates coming up in our housekeeping section right after this. Okay. I'm not going to go over everything this time.
Yeah, we're just going to start round information, yeah?
Yeah. That is not what I wanted.
I added that note about Portland only playing on Tuesday. If you don't have, well, I guess I
also agreed with the note about LAFC essentially is 2 home games. I mean, I
saw that. I'm like, wow, she put a note in the thing.
I did. I added a note.
You're advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I use a lot of Google Drive. How I live my life.
Okay, I got the new social out. Please do share again. Always helpful.
Tyler, I got it, man. I'm on top of it.
He doesn't trust me. I'm glad. And he
Oh,
shouldn't.
good secret weapon, Patrick.
What? Guys, I'm not in chat. What am I missing?
See, sorry. All right, and welcome back to our housekeeping coming up for round 20. We're going to skip some of the league over recap because of the big double game week that we have, but congratulations to everyone who is kicking butt in all of our leagues. You guys are doing awesome. So if you missed the beginning of the show, this round is starting Tuesday, July 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is tomorrow if you're listening to us live, and today with Hope if you are listening to the podcast, and that I've gotten it edited, which I'm going to do my best to make sure that happens. So yeah, it starts at 7:30. There's a handful of games there with our typical 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, I think, start time. And I'm going to give a quick check of that. Yeah, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. So you have a little bit of a preview right there. But then we have one game on Wednesday, July 5th. And then we have a bunch of games on Saturday, July 8th. And there's a note here. It's important to know that Portland only plays on Tuesday. So that is one of the single game week teams that will help you activate switcheroos potentially if you're looking for players to guarantee will not be there. But yes, everything starts July 4th, so you will want to get your team set ASAP. As far as double game week goes, there's a handful of teams, not everybody, not the biggest double game week we have, but definitely the fastest turnaround. We have Miami, Toronto, LAFC, DC United, Colorado, New York City FC, Columbus, LA Galaxy, Dallas, Orlando, and Charlotte. And then an important little note, the only team with a double home game this round is technically or officially Colorado, but LAFC is playing at home, and then they're playing LA Galaxy, so it's practically a double home game for LAFC as well.
LA Galaxy at the Rose Bowl, and my understanding from tickets is that is going to be not overwhelmingly, but predominantly LAFC.
Practically a home game for
I think
them.
you could see at least 50 to 60,000 of them being LAFC.
It's going to be El Traficos are crazy. So caveat there for however you would like that information to factor into your thoughts. There it is for you. No teams have a bye round this week, but everybody else who we did not mention is on a single game week. Most of those teams are playing on Saturday, but like I said, Portland is playing on Tuesday. and so keep up with that. Switcheroo options are going to vary. Portland is a good option. You can also head over to the Mega Reference. We have a section called Safe Scrubs there, where you have a list of players at various positions who are no longer in the league but are still in the game, so you are guaranteed for them to not play if you don't want to have to worry about bouncing all of that knowledge around in your head for who is or who isn't and trying to keep up with lineups. You can check that out at our Discord server. And then it's all about the internationals. We, as I said last week, peak Gold Cup season right now. Everything is bonkers. I am on vacation, so I will not be going to Cincinnati to watch the United States play there. I don't know if I would have, or if that schedule would have worked out anyway, but yes, the United States just doing great things in the Gold Cup, and all our players are still gone, and I'm going to turn it over to Christian right now to start going over some of our international and suspension and injury information for this round.
Okay, actually all this stuff that I'm about to talk about can be found in the Mega Reference that is shared in Discord. I'm going to go through double game week call-ups by club. As a reminder, Columbus, Aiden, these are guys that are not going to be available this round. Columbus, Aiden Morris, Kevin Molino, Jason Russell-Rowe. Colorado, Brian Acosta, Moise Bambito. Dallas, Jesus Ferreira. LAFC, Aaron Long. LA Galaxy, Jaden Neal, and Zavaleta, I can't remember his first name. Miami, DeAndre Yedlin and Kamal Miller are missing. New York City, James Sands. Toronto, Richie Larea, Jonathan Osorio, Sean Johnson, and Romero. They're still down to Ranjit Singh as their goalkeeper.
And Bob Bradley.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess Bob Bradley. No, man, he's no longer with that establishment.
That's right. That's right.
Suspensions and injuries. So, good news. You saw Ozzy Alonso start, or not start. He came on late for Atlanta on Sunday. I don't know if that's the first time since his injury, since he's actually got it.
He came on the week before, I remember. Because
Did he?
I watched it. Because
okay.
I thought remember his hair. Very vividly, as someone who watched him bald for many years.
Right.
So it was either last week or the week before I watched him.
I mean, I got some interest in that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Anyway, congrats to Ozzy. I hope he recovers fully and we can see him play.
For sure.
Double game week, yellow card warning. These are guys that you probably want to bench if you're taking. Now go by team. For DC United, Cleach and Pines are both on yellow card warning. Dallas, Pamukal. I don't think anybody's going to take Paxton Pamukal. I mean, you never know. Miami, Campagna, Ruiz, and Frey are all on yellow card warning. New York City, Kufre is confirmed. There was some question earlier about that. Iljanic is also on yellow card warning. For Toronto, Bernadeschi is on yellow card warning. So those are the guys that you probably want to bench if you're taking. For suspensions, the ones that have reached yellow card accumulation and are suspended for game one of this double game week, I'm going to go through everybody. Christian Benteke, suspended game one. Santiago Rodriguez, suspended game one. Mateus Pellegrini, who cares? Diego Palacios, suspended game one. I can't remember his first name, but Priso is suspended for Colorado game one. The single game week guys that you might be interested in, maybe, Carlos Gil is suspended for his game. He may get one of those yellow cards rescinded. I don't know what that comment is based on, but that was what I think Tyler wrote in the thing. Michael Boxall is suspended, so if you're thinking about Austin players for any reason whatsoever, attackers, that might be a good fallback for you. Ibarra for Atlanta is suspended, and so is Jackson Ewell Also suspended on a second caution, these three guys. Walker Zimmerman was sent off with a double yellow. Mikael for Houston was sent off with a double yellow. Soquet or Soke or whatever, I'm going to pull a Reid here and claim ignorance. For Chicago was double yellowed. For injuries, big names on the injury list are Lorenzo Insigne was pulled off at halftime with an injury. He's listed as questionable. Officially listed as questionable. Timothy Tillman came off early. I don't know why he came off early. He's probably tactical, but he's recovering from an injury, so it's probably that too. Georgios Giacomakis came off very early with an injury to the chagrin of many.
Good word.
And the last but not least, Evander is confirmed out by Gio Savarese with an ankle injury and will not play on Saturday. Or, I'm sorry, tomorrow. He will not play tomorrow. All right, so we've got some transfers to talk about. And I'm just going to go through the list, and we can just riff after I go through the list because I'll be done at that point. Lionel Messi is slated to debut mid to late July, so we won't see him in Miami's second match this round. His first eligible game would be on Saturday, but he's not expected to start until mid to late July, or even play. Christian Arango could debut for RSL on Saturday versus Orlando, so keep that in mind if you're up for taking some Orlando defenders. That might affect your decision. Aaron Bupanza could debut for Cincinnati. Reid can probably extrapolate about that. I don't know what his visa status is, but he is eligible to play at Charlotte on Saturday if he's got his visa. Timo Pukki is 100% expected to debut on Saturday and might even start versus Austin. He's match fit. His season just ended like a few weeks ago. I think he's got I'm like 99.9% certain he's got his visa worked out. So he's expected to start. Also, something that was reported today, Tom Bogert reported that Andrew Gutman is expected to be transferred to Colorado Rapids immediately, which is big news, actually. He will not play. He will not play this week. I don't expect him to play this week. He can't play tomorrow. He could possibly play on Saturday, but I doubt he will, because he'll have zero experience training with the team. So that's for next week. All right, that's all I've got.
Excellent.
I want to talk about.
No, I think.
Talk about Messi,
No, we did our Messi spiels at a time. We'll see what happens with Open Cup if he plays in there. But no, thank you so much, Christian, for that. Thank you so much, Tyler, for the work that you also put in doing that. I know he gave you some shade during that, Christian. So it's all good. This is where we would have Tyler. I thought he did. He said a whole lot of stuff. Come on, man. But. This is where, if we did it on Discord, Tyler would just jump in. We'd be like, and Tyler. And we'd just say, take it away and come back. So, but yes, that is some of the information you'll need to keep in mind as you're setting your teams for this upcoming round. The main information will be who you should be targeting, and we'll be getting into that right after this.
Tyler, Jesus.
Guys, I'm not in chat today. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either. You should be in chat.
I can't pull it up for some reason.
Just the regular YouTube?
I'm trying it on Spencer's iPad. If I do it on my laptop, I have 1,000 windows open. I tried it on Spencer's iPad, and for some reason it won't work.
Boo.
I blame him.
Yeah, I think that's good. Okay.
He's giving me crap for not reading his document. He didn't share it with me, and I did all of this myself.
Oh, no, I told you he sent it to me.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't see any of it.
Sent it to me.
Tisk. I'll just have to.
Oh God.
We'll just make a
Tyler's
new.
having a meltdown.
We're going to make a new chat group on Twitter, and we're going to have you guys in it as well. So that's just what's going to happen. We're gonna make a new chat group on Twitter. We're going to call it like MLSFI hosts plus hosts and associates. That's where we go. Hosts and associates, and we're going to add Christian and Tyler to it. So I don't know if you guys are still using the Twitter.
I said it before the show. I said you said you were doing it, and I said he sent it to me. And I said, thank God now he won't get upset with me for saying everything.
Oh,
professionals. We are professionals. All of you who are with us right now, this is it.
Oh, sorry. There is nothing to see here, folks.
Close the curtain. What's going on?
No attention to the man behind the curtain.
All right, here we go.
His name is Tyler. Okay. Sorry.
All right, welcome back. We're here to talk about our player targets for round 20. But first, another reminder, if you did not catch us at the top of the show, next week I'm going to be off on vacation. It's going to be amazing. But for you all, we're going to be trying something different. So guinea pigs, no, it's still going to be amazing. Christian is going to help lead us through a little experiment with Discord. Ashley will be there. Christian will be there. Blaine is doing his best Carmen Sandiego. So we'll find out what is, for those of you who are like Gen Z, that's a TV show and a game where you learn geography. Yeah, anyway.
Theme song that is to, yeah.
I don't know why I want to do that all of a sudden, but it just seemed funny. Anyway, Blaine, TBD. We might have some other guests. Discord's going to be awesome. Could maybe even have 5 people on the stream. It may not get streamed on YouTube. Sorry, fam, if you're here listening, but I'll do something with the video if it can't. But we will likely be able to get audio at least so that we will still have the podcast, the SoundCloud podcast out there and whatever other podcast platform you use. So that's what's coming up for next week. So if you don't see us here on YouTube, it's fine. You should still get it with the download. And if you want to join us on Discord, head over MLSFantasyBoss.com/Discord. It's free, and just check that out and see what kind of fun things happen next week. But now, time to talk about players for this. I keep wanting to go just into massive double game week, but it's not a massive double game week. It's a quick turnaround double game week. It is a solid double game week, but it's fast, quick turnaround. Everything starts on Tuesday, and it's just ridiculous. Happy 4th of July, and let's start out by talking about keepers and defenders. Ashley, who are you looking at?
Yeah, this one, to me, I guess I would say was pretty straightforward, although I think there are some other viable options. To me, it was Gillespie in net, and then I just went straight to Colorado to start on my keeper if that doesn't hit. Like I said, I think there's some other good options, and I see them on the two of your notes. So I'll let you expand on that, because when I looked at the games, those were the two that jumped out at me. I definitely want a Columbus defender. I go back and forth about who I like better, and I think there are different reasons to like different players. Morera is who I currently have. I've also liked Amundsen and Farsi at different times this season for different reasons, so I think you could go a couple different ways. I like Hollingshead because I feel more confident in him not getting rotated, and I like his offensive bonus point potential because I don't particularly think there'll be a clean sheet in the El Tráfico game, just because historically there often isn't. I like Orlando defense. It's not a defense I've picked this year, so I'm kind of just going to go through who I think I like best in their matchups. And then I also like Chanot and FC Dallas defense. Again, FC Dallas is a defense that I've kind of picked and chose from in different people at different times. I've liked Tafari a lot this season. Occasionally I've picked Farfan. And then there was a Jesus. Is he gone at Gold Cup though? Because they're Jesus. Both Jesuses are gone, I think, right?
For
FC Dallas.
No,
the defender Jesus is still there. I've liked him occasionally too. So, and I know that this past week, their 4.0, one of their 4.0 guys was on the team of the week. So, I think there's
Tyler's saying false. I guess I lied.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought he was gone, and that's why the 4.0 Junqua, I think, is playing instead. But I think there's a couple good options from all of those teams. And those are the
he's
teams.
not at the Gold Cup. I don't know what.
Hey guys, let's not fight. I think there's a couple good options from all of those teams. One team that I didn't mention picking up a keeper or a defender from is Colorado, and that's just because I think for me that's the team that I trust the least. Defensively, I know that they have 2 home games against 2 kind of banged up or missing people offensive teams, not heavy scorers in Portland and Dallas, but I just don't trust Colorado, so that's why they're the ones that I left out from my defensive picks. So yeah,
makes total sense. Christian, who are you looking at?
Same people. It's either going to be Galese to Yarborough, or I'm sorry, Galese to Yarborough or Pass to Barraza. Not really wild about New York City, but if you're going to take a later keeper to start with, you almost have to go Barraza. Tafari, Rafael Santos, Pedro Santos, if you want to do DC. Morera, Wilson, Cheno, and or Hollingshead. Same people, basically. I might do a 5 at the back auto room, though. I really hate all these defenders.
Yeah, the defenders are where I'm sold on the least this round as well. So I think if you are comfortable with the 5 at the back auto row, I think this is a round to do it.
That could be really fun. So I have a few other names that I'm going to throw out in there. I guess, yes, Pais and Barraza are definitely really, really popular. There's a couple of others I'm going to, you guys also talk about Galese. Yeah, another one I think that's up there. I'm also going to throw out Miller and McCarthy as potential. That Dallas game, like, I get why we're looking at him. They did well with some clean sheets recently. But they have struggled to score, and DC has been pretty solid at times, even on the road. I could see that being a pretty decent matchup. It could end up being a draw, or maybe DC can at least get a clean sheet out there. So I do potentially like DC as a clean sheet, and then later on the round they are at home to Inter Miami. Now they're getting more players. They're getting Tata. It's just like a whole welcome back retirement league thing going on in Miami, so that might be a little bit tougher than maybe expected, but still a pretty good shot. Inter Miami not super high on offensive powerhouse rankings right there, so I think DC could also be a decent shout to look out there. And then I know we've all been kind of bagging on LAFC, but we've also bagged on LA Galaxy, so they've gotten some stuff going a little bit lately with some more goals, but El Trafico potentially have a clean sheet chance with LAFC there. And then their second leg later in the week is against San Jose, who, again, has struggled at times to score. We've talked about with Cade Cowell and some of the various form that they have. But it's essentially home games for them as well this round as well. Like we said, that kind of a faux away home split for them. But I think there's some potential right there for LA Galaxy to be other guys that are thrown into that conversation for who could be a keeper option for you besides what Christian and Ashley had already mentioned. So in addition to that, yeah, I'll throw in some other names because I like to pair up my defenders. I know a lot of you do as well with your goalkeepers. Whichever LAFC player you want to pair up. We often go with Hollingshead right there, but any of the ones back there, yeah. There's multiple options. Any player that you have there, like I said, those two tend to be the go-to for me. Pines is the unofficial mascot of Tyler for MLS Fantasy Insider, so he tends to be the go-to.
Yellow card watch, though. Yellow card watch for Pines.
Yellow card watch, indeed. But he tends to be the top pick that we look at with DC when we're going right there. I agree with the Colorado hesitation. It's enough that I would not feel comfortable with a keeperoo like that, but I would feel comfortable with an autoroo with a Colorado defender. Wilson, again, I agree, is one of the top choices there. But you could go whoever you want to right there. But I would feel them, that's 100% a bench play for me if you're looking at that. You could pair up whichever. Again, same thing with Orlando Santos is probably who I would look at if you're going to pair up with Galese right there. And then maybe even Columbus could be a good shot. I don't 100% trust them with their goalkeeping, even though they go up on the road to Miami. Already talked about Miami. And then home to New York City after New York City is playing Charlotte. So it's New York City's second game as well. They have struggled at times on the road. Could be a decent clean sheet chance right there with Columbus, or at least maybe enough to want to go with a defender for some bonus point potential right there if you're not going to go with a defender, because you likely have some other field players that you're going to target for Columbus in this round that maybe make you not want to go with the keeper. But we'll talk about that coming up so soon. Other than that, I think we've covered a lot of the players. I just really hesitate with LA Galaxy. Don't want to touch Columbus, don't want to touch Toronto with a 10-foot pole with that, and the same thing with Miami. So a lot of these other double game week teams, just questions. Charlotte's one that is playing on Wednesday, so you would have a little bit of time to think about that a little bit more. But traveling to New York City with that crazy field they have, I am unsure about the clean sheet there. And then they host Cincinnati, who have been dangerous throughout the season, especially with some of the connection that they've been building with Baji right there. He's been filling in very well while Vasquez has been gone. So really question the ability for Charlotte to have good clean sheet chances right there. I think.
So is your new DP forward going to play?
I don't know. He's not going to play if he's not in the game. But according to Tyler, he's talked to Skylar and that he is ready to have all of those players loaded into the game ASAP. Okay. So we will have to see right there. But I'm really excited about it. We've definitely needed that to help split that pressure up front. And so I'm really excited when he does come in right there for us.
Who sits down, Baji or Santos?
So you're assuming Vasquez is still gone. I think it's Santos then, because Baji's just been on too good form to not. I mean, he's earned it. He's earned being able to stay there while Vasquez is gone, and then when Vasquez comes back, it's those two. So,
and Kubo would be like the third.
Yeah, it's probably situational. I mean, Kubo's got some midfield ability as well, which Santos does not have right there. I mean, he's there for the forward options.
Okay.
But Kubo's there, and we've also got the Open Cup, so that's
right.
Kubo can play some of there too. All right, going over the chat. Nothing else to really add there. So let's move on over to our midfielders. Christian.
Okay. Let's see here. I have Lucas Celerayán. Facundo Torres. Connor Ronan. And I have Brugman. And it isn't exciting, but he's got a solid floor, out of all the double game week players, better than Puig's floor. But the fifth mid is between Bogusz, Tillman, and Puig. I prefer Tillman, to be honest, because, he's pretty deadly. Bogusz is in form, though, and I don't know. I don't know if Bogusz has won that spot from Opoku or not. I'm thinking he has, because Opoku hasn't really scored anything lately. So, I guess that's just something to watch. I mean, I definitely think LAFC's form doesn't really play into this El Trafico match at all. It's like Bears-Packers. Doesn't matter how crappy the team is, it's always going to be like that's the one everybody circled on the calendar, that game.
Well, he's got much better form right now than Tillman does, who hasn't scored or really played solid minutes in
because he's been injured. Tillman's been injured.
Right, he hasn't done anything in weeks.
This last game was his first minutes in a long time. But I mean, with Kellen Acosta being out and or recovering from injury. I don't know how many minutes he got last week, but I don't think it was a lot. Maybe it was. I didn't see it, but it's usually Cifuentes, Tillman, and Acosta that are sharing two spots, and then Ilie backs those guys up. But I could totally see, since Ilie is like a leaf in the wind, I could totally see like their new guy coming in for that second game.
Sure. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Who knows?
Ashley.
Unfortunately, I have nothing controversial or fun to add to that. Zella was the first one on my team, even though I got stuck with him last week and didn't want him. Torres, I think I do like Puig. I agree with what you're saying, Christian, about Brugman and where that floor is. but because of the Trapico game, I think I'm gonna do Puig over Bergman. He hit this past week, and he has not been the same this season at all. But I'm kind of optimistic that perhaps he's coming into a little bit of a stride at a time when they're going to need to pick up points. So, and then everyone else, I don't like Tillman, but everyone else that Christian said is who I'm looking at for my team. I think you could throw Klitsch in there. I know he's on yellow card watch, but DC has some decent matchups. I think they're without Benteke, which makes me a little nervous. But there's Santi with his suspension for the first game kind of knocks him out for me. And then there's not really anybody else that I'd be looking at. Like you said earlier about defenders, I'm not paying attention to Toronto. I don't know what's going on with Insigne, otherwise I'd consider it. And then, there's no one from Charlotte that really, grabs my attention. And definitely not anybody yet from Inter Miami. So
I think from Charlotte, Swiderski has to be part of the conversation.
Well, sure. I was just talking midfielders. Yeah, just from midfielders.
Oh, yeah. Yep, sure. Sorry.
So I think you guys nailed the chalk. I mean, the chalk this week is going to be Zella, Torres, Ronan, and an LA player. I'm going to say an LA player. I've seen Brugman more in lineup so far, but an LA Galaxy player, absolutely, I think that's going to be the chalk right there. That Bogusz pick, I like that, but I hadn't thought a lot about that, Christian, but you make some good points that I think that he could definitely be in the running there. If you're looking for some other names that we can throw out there, because that's what we're here to do. I mean, Sandy Rodriguez up there with New York.
He's out the first game.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
My bad. I wasn't thinking of Santi. I was thinking of
the other dude,
Pereira. Yes, sorry. They got the two up there.
Actually, Gabby, there's something up with him too.
Well, then scratch that. Scratch that right there because I wrote Santi in my notes, but that was not who I meant to write. And anyway, scratch that one. I do have others though. You could also look at Kamungo over at Dallas. That's a really random one, but he's been getting some more minutes. He did get a goal last week, so that could be he's got double games. Again, I mentioned maybe going with DC as a clean sheet. Dallas could still get a goal there. DC has not been solid all year, so that could be an opportunity for them. And then going up against Colorado, it's a lot of travel, but Colorado has also struggled. So there could be some opportunities there if you are looking at some of those differential picks. I'm sure that Tyler will have some interesting options for us. After that, don't rate anyone from Miami. Absolutely right there. Don't want to touch Toronto again with a 10-foot pole. Absolutely not. After that, you're really getting into single game week players. If you're not going to consider having a scrub, and you guys already covered LAFC and LA Galaxy, so those are all options. You can absolutely have 5 double game weeks. If you have one spot, would you be more willing to scrub that midfielder or go with a single game week? And if never, which single game week player would you prioritize over any of the other maybe subpar double game week options?
Well, all the good ones are playing away games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Most of them.
I don't know that I would. I mean, maybe Hector Herrera. But I think that there's enough double game week midfield options this week. Reynoso would be another I'd consider playing at home against Austin, who's in better form, but not great form.
I guess Gald is at home too.
Which one?
Gald.
Ryan Gald.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's enough good midfield options on double game weeks this week to trump any of the single game week players in midfield. I could see that conversation in some other positions, but not for middies.
Well,
That's
if
fair.
you take a single game week, what did Heel score? He's out, but what did he score? He scored 3 points last game.
Yeah.
Okay, so Reynoso got what? He got a 14. All right. So if you have a double game week guy,
Sure.
like a 2
They have to
7s,
get a goal in minutes played in both games. Yeah. I hear you. Sure. Yeah. One was, I mean, I didn't watch it, so I can't say I was going to say. One was a PK, which always makes me a little hesitant to factor that in as much, even though, yes, he's on PKs. But I don't know. I used to be very strategic as far as like, oh, but like you're saying, like, oh, is the matchup better? Like, what form is he in? Could he still produce better? But the longer I've been playing fantasy, the more I'm like, it's 2 games. Like, I have to really not feel good about, especially a midfielder who's playing 2 games, to not pick them. And I think that there's options in midfield. Like I said, I think you could talk me into a single game week player, probably in both defense and striker, but not for midfielders this week.
I mean, statistically, it's you're not optimizing your team if you go with a single game week.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
And I will never scrub a midfielder.
This is MLS, so you never know. But
you have to ask the question. To ask the question, especially during a big international call-up time. So have to ask the question, have to bring out some more information right there. Thank you for the correction with New York City FC. But this is likely going to be a very, you guys already mentioned Klitsch as well, very chalky midfield for this round. So it could be interesting where people go for those differentials. Let's move on to forwards to see if we have anything less than chalk right there. Starting with you, Christian.
I've got Cucho, Dennis Bouanga, and Carlos Vela. Those just like
self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Reasons?
No.
Well, I mean, it's El Trafico, dude. Like,
yeah.
If you don't pick Carlos Vela in El Trafico, I can't help you.
Yeah,
like, sorry.
You know what I'm doing?
What are you doing?
I'm gonna have Chicharito be my scrub.
That's not what your sheet says.
No, what's the 3 strikers that I like? I like. Well, I'm skipping you now. We're going over you. I also like Cujo and Bouanga. I always get nervous with Vela on a double, but I agree that you're playing him for the Trafico, right? Like that's what you're doing. And he should at least,
and everything else is gravy.
He should at least feature in the second game, which is that real home game. But I am struggling to find where I want my scrub, and I'm considering doing Chicharito as an homage to him because I don't think he'll ever play in another one. Because it's hard to find scrubs on a double game week with no buys. So I like Swiderski. I kind of played around at first with how to fit him in, but he just isn't producing at a rate that makes me feel comfortable with that, and I'd rather use that as my scrub spot at the moment. But he is the 3rd striker that I think I like, maybe more than Vela, but I think Vela is a very, very viable choice for sure.
I'm more worried about Bouanga, to be honest. Like,
yeah, but
his form is
scoring so much more consistently. He could, like, I mean, everybody says all the time, like, oh, he got off a plane from Gabon, but like he did, and then like he got off a plane a second time and scored. Like he's shown me that if he comes into a game, I feel more confident with him pulling the goal. If he's the one that gets rotated. But yeah, LAFC are in a weird slump, and he might be a bench play for me, honestly.
So yeah. starting with game week 13, he had 1 goal. That was a double. Then he played 26 minutes and got a 1. Week 16, he blanked both games, 5 and a 2, and played at least 80 minutes. Game week 17, he did not play at all either. Game week 18, he had a 2, played 60 minutes, was taken off. 18, he had a 10. He scored 1 goal versus the Caps at home. And in Dallas, he blanked. He got a 3 last week. So, I mean, he's not the Mr. Automatic we were used to seeing, to be honest. And that's why, I mean, neither is Vela, but it's the only reason I'm picking Vela is because it's El Trafico. Otherwise, I wouldn't have him.
Yeah.
So, just food for thought.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. His scoring form and playing time has also been pretty inconsistent as well. So that could be a game day decision with just who you are feeling. They do play that last game at the 10:30 slot, so maybe you'll still have some room. Not a lot extra to add there. Again, pretty chalky right here. It seems like it's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see the lineups that come out this round. But for me, yeah, absolutely. Cucho 100% is on there. I have Bowanga right now. Christian makes some good points right there. We already mentioned Swiderski. I think he's in the mix if you want to throw that out. Could always get the points. Costa is someone maybe to think about if you're looking at some other LA Galaxy attackers, since Chicharito is not available. But so you could look at Costa right there. If you're looking back for some other options with your forward spot, it gets kind of thin. Maybe another differential French player, Joseph Martinez. Some things have changed down there in Miami. Just talked about how we don't rate Miami at all. Perfect time for Joseph Martinez to get a double hat trick, is it not?
I have a stat.
Go for it.
About Miami. They almost every game they score one goal. And it's generally Joseph Martinez who scores it. So, yeah, I mean, Martinez is if you're going to take a Miami player, that's who you'd want.
So he's in the mix right there. And, of course, just some of the other names we usually mention. Benteke is a name that is available for DC. We can see what's going to happen right there. And in honor of Blaine, we will throw out CJ Sapong as the long shot Toronto player, which none of us are going to touch with a 10-foot pole. But if you're looking for some differential stuff, there's teams there to take a look at. But this may be a round where defenders set it all off with who you're going to go with your differentials right there. And maybe this is a round that's going to end up being 5 defenders. Like I think you mentioned earlier, Christian, that might be just something crazy that happens.
I was going to scrub 2 of them automatically. So,
well,
who
knows what happens? This could be a 5-defender week. It's international call-ups. Everything is crazy. Checking over Bernardeschi and Cucho. Yeah, I mean, Bernardeschi for Toronto, again, maybe the more reliable when compared against CJ Sapong, but still just a lot of questions right there, I think, for Toronto. I mean, when Osorio's gone, it just is a weakened team overall in general. So not really sure about targets there. Not even going to mention picking a single game week forwards because these are guys who are already on our short list. And the 2 games, you're right, Ashley, is just so valuable, especially at this position. Unless you're finding those forwards who are generating those bonus points, then they're going to be at the top of your list anyway. So let's wrap everything up with our final question. And even less time before you have to make the final decision than usual. Who is your captain so far for this round, Ashley?
I think it's Zella. He had a pretty poor showing last week, but with the matchups and who he is, I think that's who I'll land on this week.
Christian?
I, without a shadow of a doubt, am picking Carlos Vela. And then I will chicken out 15 minutes before the game locks.
I like it. Well, I agree with Ashley. Right now, it's 100% on Zilla for me. I like that game against Inter Miami on the road, and I like their chances going up against New York City FC at home in Columbus with having both Cucho and Zella right there. I think that it's a good rebound for Zella to be able to get some solid points at some good matchups for him to do that. So I like Zella right now, but it's who knows? Maybe I'll chicken out and go with Vela at the end and balance the universe to help that.
It's captaining Vela, you guys.
It's no longer ACV. I got a shout out for Torres in chat right now. How do you all feel about? I mean, Torres is definitely a very viable midfielder option. Going against Toronto, which we like to bet against, and then on the road to RSL, not always been solid right there. Struggled, especially at the beginning of the season.
And that's why I didn't pick him, because they're going on the road to RSL. Like, he's only got one good game there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there. Sure, I was going to say.
Like this week. He's only got one good game this week.
Yeah, I mean, 2 13s back-to-back is incredibly impressive, and nothing to, like, disregard, but he's a hot or cold, right? He's a 3-4 or he's a 12-14. So that's what makes me nervous. If it was a double home, maybe some better matchups as far as like who the road team was. But I think that is a super great differential captain and something that I'm too shit to do.
He's definitely in my team. It's just I'm not
definitely in my team, 100%. Yeah, you couldn't talk me out of him in my team, honestly. But for an armband, I think he's also someone that I just haven't paid enough attention to this season, right? So like, I always get a little sketched out picking someone to armband who I have barely put in my team at all this season. And maybe that's on me, right? Like clearly he's had some big games, and some of them I had him and some of them I didn't. So
I don't usually make that decision unless I know why he's all of a sudden come into form.
Exactly what I mean. Exactly what I mean. I don't know him well enough to be like,
I've had him in draft league. I follow him, and he's let me down more times than not this season.
Sure.
It's only lately that he's actually come into form, and boy, has he come into form. I mean,
yeah. I've always preferred him to Pereira, and I got a lot of shit from either Reid or Blaine. I don't remember. One of you was like a hard Pereira choice, and I was always like, well, what about Facundo? But yeah, like I said, I think that's a really good differential captain, but it's not one that I can talk myself into.
Well, Gene is saying Zelarayan owns New York.
Great, I'm captain.
So,
I would love that.
Already, I might be like chickening out. See?
Sure.
Thanks, Gene.
If Gene says it.
Well, I mean, he would know.
Exactly.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for the show. And thank you, of course, Christian and Ashley, for helping pass on all of their thoughts with the faster than usual turnaround that we have. The games are going live tomorrow, so be sure to get your lineup set. And again, next week, I'm going to be off on vacation, and so we're going to have a special Discord centered stream that's going on. More information will be coming out for that. Check out, Ashley and Blaine, and I'm sure I'll be able to get some tweets going on, at least with that information there. So be sure to tune in to all that. We're going to close out everything with our plugs. Christian.
The MLS Fantasy Boss Discord community is the place to be.
Ashley.
Yeah, nothing. Agree, but I got nothing.
Agree. And yeah, I'll double down on that. So yeah, MLSFantasyBoss.com/Discord, the easiest way to join to be able to partake in the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord community. Also, we'll see what happens. Again, fast turnaround. If Ranch is able to get over some of his differentials, we can get that posted. And there is always the player poll for the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord community. If you want to go vote in that now, that would be super helpful. And I will do everything I can to get that posted timely with the quick turnaround, so we will see. But it's going to be a great round. Please do be safe. If you are celebrating the 4th of July, take care with all those fireworks and with your families. No need to be getting hurt for that.
Forest fires. We had 3 forest fires in Washington started by fireworks this weekend.
Yes, be careful with all of those things. So we want you to be able to join us for the rest of the fantasy season. So just be smart whenever you're doing those things. But enough of that parent break right there, because we don't want you to focus on that. Remember, fantasy deadline Tuesday. Let's get it done. And as always, thank you very much and good night. No, that's not right. Good night. Where did good night come from? I don't know. It's as always.
It's the morning.
It's just we're all higgity piggity. It's as always. Good luck.